We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on JJ Pegues, Ole Miss defensive lineman, and he's by far and away one of the most intriguing players in this class, in my opinion, because he's a former tight end. Here he is lined up at defensive end at 6'2", about 320, moving like that as an edge player. He can play pretty much all across the defensive line, from 3 tech. He even has reps as like a 1 tech 0. He can play as a 5. It's very interesting, the reps that he has, and his movement skills are so impressive at his size and the way he can penetrate and be disruptive. I think he's a super good athlete. Another thing about him is he is a former tight end. I actually think he has better pass rush reps, but when they try to pull towards him as an edge, he just blows up guards and tight ends like that. It's so fun to watch him do those types of things. I think he can do some good stuff for the run, but the versatility, his athleticism, and then also another thing I haven't mentioned, he gives reps on offense as a wildcat back or a fullback, and I think that could be a role for him at the next level as well, on goal line packages, because he had 7 touchdowns this past season. He is a threat in that area too. Being a former tight end, you can see it with his movement skills, his playmaking ability, just ability to be disruptive. He's got a pretty good motor, can chase things down laterally. But I do think his best reps, surprisingly, for a guy of his size, come at the edge. I think he just looks more comfortable as a pass rusher, but here he is, taking a direct snap, from, down in the goal line, and people just can't tackle him as he gets in the end zone. I think he's a player that I just haven't seen enough people talk about, but he's really fun. Here he is, versus Emory Jones, who's probably a guy who'll get drafted decently, probably on day 2 somewhere, and here he is just hitting the cross chop on him at his size, at 6'2", 320. A guy that will be playing from 1 to 3 tech at the next level, doing this cross chop down, perfect timing and placement. So he hits the hop into the cross chop, and then is able to transition that into ripping underneath, and then showing some flexibility to bend and corner. That's not normal for a guy that size. So really rare athlete in this part of his game. I'm a big fan of Pegues. It just helped and he was very disruptive in this LSU game. Here's another rep of him off the edge. That first one, another just example of him cross-chopping. Hits that hop, cross-chop. The guy shoots that outside hand. That's what you're trying to do. When they shoot that outside hand, you're going to go for that cross-chop. And he's able to dip, rip underneath, corner to the quarterback, and then he's able to knock that ball out. Just really, really good work off the edge. This stuff is not normal, for a guy of that size. Even if, this would be a really good rep, even if he was, 60 pounds lighter. You imagine how much more explosive he could be, even if he lost a few and just became an edge, because this is a former tight end, so I imagine he put on some weight when they started playing him as a defensive lineman. And he can do stuff on the interior too, because that's versus tackles where he's beating people with athleticism. You get him as a 3 tech. Here he is as a 2-eye, but you get him as a 3 tech, those types of things. You get him one-on-one with a guard with this type of space. Look at him set up this spin move. You can just see the finesse to win around, and he's a guy that plays pretty good play strength and toughness as well. I think he's, more of winning with this finesse type stuff, but it's really impressive that he's able to move like this at this size. Just another move in his bag. Very coordinated, very balanced player, great core strength, body control, helps get there at the quarterback in those types of reps. I also think usually when these big athletic guys are able to slant like this, here, he crosses the face of the guy, slants down, and it looks like they make late bring this linebacker, which doesn't end up working. But since he's slanting down, I think he can be a guy that's effective in a twist stunt game because of that athleticism. Here they just don't kind of pick him up, and he works through both of them, able to get after the quarterback and get that sack. But I think he's a guy that's explosive enough to just really exchange gaps, get over, take people's attention away, and then potentially help a looper coming free. Or he's so quick that he can get through the line and just make an impact, disrupting in the interior as a crash defender. And then there's reps like this. You don't want to run... When he's edge, you do not want to run the pullers at his size. Guys have to kick him out. This guard has to kick him out. Look at him just drop the shoulder into that guy. You do not want to be that guy. Because he sees you coming, he feels it the whole way, and he just bullies through him. This type of rep is all over the film. He does that a lot. Pretty much every time it happened, he did that. And they did it with a couple times at tight end. But the fact that he can do that and then come into the inside and just straight up play head up over a guard and then hold his own at the point of attack, reset the line of scrimmage, use his hands to separate and shed and help make that tackle right there in more of a 2-gap type of situation. That's pretty impressive. Like those reps are on film. Like the reps are on film of him making an impact in sort of every situation. Here's another rep, just lined up at edge. He was giving Emory Jones problems, man. Attacking the outside half, he won on the cross chops the other time. He sets up the cross chop. He swipes to that outside, but then once he catches him off balance, he works with that quickness, gets him to open up his hips, uses his power, and then continues to fight through the contact to get a hit on the quarterback, which ends up, him just having to like toss it up out there. Love that ability to sort of mix it up, have a few different moves in his bag. Here's another nice rep. Here he is as a 3, which I think teams will probably see him more as a 3 at the next level. Get control. Guy tries to seal him off. Now he's able to get down the field laterally, make a tackle with line of scrimmage. I think that's where you should get him in, like a penetrating, a more aggressive downhill one gap type of scheme. I think that just fits more of his explosive play style well. And really, like, I think you can literally line him up as an end at the next level. I don't think it'll be a full-time role or anything, but I think he can play there, especially early downs. Like, you want a bigger guy that can stop the run. Like, he can set the edge. We've seen what he did earlier when they tried to pull towards him. He can make plays versus the run, because tackles are going to have a much harder time blocking him in the run game than guards would. Maybe he won't win as consistently on the outside as a pass rusher, but maybe in those situations you move him more to the inside. But that versatility, I mean, you get him with the right defensive coordinator, I think he's a real weapon early on as an early rotational player. Even if he goes somewhere on day 3, because it seems like teams have him as a day 3 player. I think you get him on day 3 and you're getting a steal. Here, kind of just shooting upfield. Another disruptive play. This is just pure explosiveness, because once he's right here, he's in a situation where, like, he sees the toss is happening and identifies it. Look at him just shoot up the field, get vertical, and by him doing that, he's able to slow down the receiver. Makes him take a wider angle and gets a hand on him to slow him down, which gives his guys all the time in the world to really break up this play. And it was supposed to be like a throw. This receiver basically ended up having to throw it away. But just great job just being disruptive in multiple different ways. Here he is just getting down, maybe a little late to recognize the screen, but he gets out of there laterally and then sees the guy making the cutback. He's able to get upfield, make a play. Very good athlete for his size, man. He's a really nice athlete, which is fun to watch. And then there's stuff like this, like I was talking about with the stunts. Here he maybe messes up the timing of it, but him working around the edge and him able to, turn that corner like that and stay with it, play with a pretty good motor as well. I think the motor is another thing to point to here, because the quarterback's just trying to escape and he makes that tackle. And then this is just one rep of this, but he scored 7 touchdowns. I literally think he could be like one of those guys that plays as like, if a team is willing to put him here in these situations, like, you can snap him the ball, you can put him as a fullback and straight up just block. I think that is a very real package for him. Like, he's proven to be very good at it, very reliable. Whether you want him to block or just give him the ball in those situations, I'm sure creative coaches can figure out plenty of different ways to use him. So JJ Pegues, really, really fun player in this class. One of the most intriguing prospects, in my opinion. Don't see too many guys with this type of skill set. Maybe if you're looking for more of a specific type, if you're looking for a guy who's like only like a one-tech run defender type, you're probably not looking for Pegues. But if you're looking for a guy that can offer, value at multiple different types of roles, JJ Pegues is your guy. So if you're just like, come in, subscribe,